Hello everyone, welcome to FinChats by Team Finbook Global.
We being a startup.
Yeah, we being a startup, like we started around one and a half years back as a startup.
And usually chartered accountants are always behind the camera
Yeah.
or behind the scenes of a company, right?
Bring some more clarity about the business concepts and finance concept.
What we faced as a co-founders
Yeah.
or the founders or the owners of
Yeah.
a business.
All of them are facing the same issue of financial management. That finance is actually the backbone
Yeah.
of everything.
Photo of Ronaldo
Yeah.
coming out of the court.
Ronaldo is still the GOAT.
I guess we can talk about Ronaldo's tax evasion situation.
If you're entering a football court rather than a court of justice.
Yeah, it was all flooded in the
Yeah.
social media platforms. So
If you don't manage your taxes or finances properly, your life gonna get screwed.
That's a definite red card from the authorities.
I mean, no surprises from the taxman.
Ronaldo had Finbook by his side. I guess he could have avoided such
It's
situations.
too much that we can afford actually, but still. We are here today to share you some exciting stories in the finance world, the successes, the pathways, the failures, and to bring some more clarity about the business concepts and finance concept. And to start with, we are a team of chartered accountants, and here with me Ruben, Matthews, Alan, and myself again, Alan. Certain things, certain stories are not supposed to be within the frame. It is supposed to be, known to the people
Yeah.
also.
I mean, usually chartered accountants are always behind the camera
Yeah.
or behind the scenes of a company, right? So we thought, why don't we come in front of the camera and discuss this further, right?
Exactly.
I
It's
think we
not-
can keep this forum to share the day-to-day
Yeah.
discussions that is happening between chartered accountants in office. We should also, I think, talk about the financial management issues. So this is one of the major issue that is faced by the businesses. Not only businesses, I think almost all the areas, like if we take the example of famous football players
Yeah.
or celebrities,
Or be
all
it
of
any
them,
regular business owner.
yeah, all of them are facing the same issue of financial management. That finance is actually the backbone
Yeah.
of everything.
Also, I think we can give them a perspective as in what we faced as a co-founders
Yeah.
or the founders or the owners of
Yeah.
a business, and what were the struggles that we faced,
Yeah.
and maybe we can share some light into that also, and
Basically,
the
what is
pain
it-
points and the
Yeah.
and what we did to overcome all those things. I don't think we were the best of them.
We are still growing, that's what.
Yeah.
We're still growing. We might not have the best of the solutions, but
Yeah.
still we can work through ways, the experience or the how it was and how it went.
Basically,
Being
what
chartered
is the do's
accountants-
and don't do's of financial management,
Yeah,
actually.
being
Sure.
chartered accountants, I think we can give not all the advices are for cost. Some advices may be for
For
free.
free also.
Yeah. So coming to the discussion, like let's today start with a common thing, like the common topic which people would really like to hear from us,
Yeah.
and let it be a startup.
Yeah.
What-
We
uh,
being a startup.
Yeah,
actually.
we being a startup, like we started around one and a half years back as a startup. So we'll first let them understand what's our story is about.
Yeah.
So we being a startup had certain set of struggles that we had, there is a like a line of saying, like whatever you see, like whatever that glitters are not gold always.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like there is a lot more of struggles behind evolution of a company, of a startup, and it starts from the very ideation phase, like how we started,
Yeah.
and it came to the concept where we really wanted to implement the structures, and then finally it took up the form of a company, and then the other concepts or the components of the business actually came into. So I think we should talk more about how the startup game is actually being played in the field.
Yeah, I mean, in this new age era, I mean, startup is actually a new word, actually.
Yeah.
It's actually a regular business. So I think what has changed is actually earlier, people start a business for a living or for survival or to earn profits. Right now, they start a business just for the sake of booming their valuation, selling off their company, actually.
Yeah. So when we look at startups, the number of startups being successful is very
Very
few.
less, yeah.
So many startups are getting failed. I think it's because of the valuations without fundamentals.
Yeah.
So the startups in the initial stage, they might be getting huge amounts of funding. Like for example, in the Byju's case, so they had enough fund with them, but they did not know how to manage that fund.
Basically, how to allocate the funds.
Exactly. So we need to identify the bottleneck departments. We need to identify, we need to evaluate the performance throughout. So that is one of the major issues faced by the startups right now.
Exactly, and also it's all about the approach that we bring to the startup. As a
Yeah.
founder, we were thinking of what we should do, and it's always a solution. A startup is what? Startup is a group of people coming to give a solution for the problems that is existing, right? So that's what basically happens. But still, we have that intuition in us as to what we have to give, and it's all about the approach that we take. And I think I've recently heard in Jeff Bezos' interview or something like that. I think I heard him say it's all about two approaches. Basically, what he talks about is it's a missionary approach and a mercenary approach.
Yeah.
So what happens in a missionary approach? So missionary approach is all about basically going in for the product, the service, making it the best of the best, rather than the owner is obviously focused on profits, but still the missionary approach is all about making the product as best as it is, and making the ultimate product or the service that provides value to the society or provides value to others. That's basically what a startup should do. But in the other hand, mercenary approach, you can think about many of the IPOs or the startups that's happening here. It's all about boosting the valuation. We don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
right? We sometimes think what's the idea behind it. We sometimes think what are they doing, but still they're going for higher valuations, and we don't even know, as Ruben, I think Ruben
Yeah.
mentioned, they're going for booming up the valuations and all. They just sell it off. It's going to IPOs. So that's like two different approaches. At Finbook Global, I think we try to bring a hybrid approach, as in keeping both the approaches in
So-
mind.
So keeping the mercenary approach as the base and then focusing on the
Focusing on,
missionary
yeah.
approach.
The vice
it's
versa.
vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping
Yeah.
the missionary,
Missionary
as
approach
as the base,
yeah.
and
True, true.
keeping, because in the mercenary, if we go for the mercenary approach, only then we'll have that clients, we'll have the targets, we'll
Yeah.
have the profits, and all those things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all those factors and attributes that gives to the financial health or the benefits of that, I think the mercenary approach is there. But when you look at the
Missionary
but
approach.
when you look at the missionary approach, you have to give that product, because it's all about providing for the society. As a
Yeah.
startup is as obviously a business is what a business is giving back to the society what they gain from the society.
Yeah, it's
right?
all about the
For
sustainability.
profits.
Yeah.
For profits, definitely for profits.
Yeah. So
So it's all about like starting from, but sometimes it's now turning into from an idea into an IPO.
Yeah, I just want to stress on that actually. I mean, earlier it was an idea to a business or an idea to a profit or an idea for survival. Right now, it's actually an idea to IPO. That means that actually the entire business is actually a product right now. I mean, there will be a product or service under the business. I mean, it's like they'll be doing they'll be doing a business and they're actually booming up or valuing the company in such a way to sell off the company. So business is actually a product.
Yeah,
right
the
now.
business itself is
It's a
you're telling that's now
yeah.
been transformed as a product.
Product right
And
now.
again, adding light to the ones which were said by Matthews and Allen, like it's about a balance between the missionary and the mercenary approach, and again the financial planning and budgeting things. What actually happens in the new era of business? It's like not having they are not having a balance. Not just between the missionary and the mercenary approach, and they are not just restricted to the financial ideation or planning. Like there really lacks a concept called the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like and I would also suggest not just fundamentals, the discipline too.
Yeah.
And I never mean the discipline is like the lifestyle discipline. It's about the financial discipline.
both are actually required.
Yeah.
You can see it here actually.
Yeah.
Plan, discipline,
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
That's what Alan always says to us, right?
Yeah.
It is not just about discipline; it's about applying discipline consistently. I
Consistently,
think that is what we can take from that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to something interesting?
Interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll be
yeah.
boring the audience.
Yeah,
here.
people may be boring. Like
Yeah.
it's all about some technical terms, the
Yeah.
finance. They may be wondering like what they are up to. So we'll kickstart today's session with two wonderful. Two legends actually. Still they are legends,
Yeah.
and you may be having some guesses about whom am I talking about. They are two people from the sports field, and we are not actually celebrating the success stories of those two today. We are actually coming to some financial mishaps happen to those legends, and they are, one is Ronaldo and the other one is the Ronaldinho. So we'll start the story of Ronaldo. So what was the actual insights behind this incident, Alan?
Yeah, so I guess everyone has heard about the Ronaldo's tax issue.
Yeah, we have seen the photo
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, it was all flooded in the
Yeah.
social media platforms. So I guess we can talk about Ronaldo's tax evasion situation, and also we should talk about the Ronaldinho. This is not a tax issue, but however, it is regarding how he went from a celebrity life to almost nothing in his bank account.
Yeah.
This is basically, as I mentioned earlier, because of lack of financial management or
That is
financial
very much
planning.
common with the Brazilian culture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not the Brazilian culture as it. The footballing culture in Brazil.
exactly. But I don't want to typecast
Yeah, it's not-
Brazilians as such, but still, yeah, that's
It's very
there.
common,
It's
to be
very
honest.
common because that's sometimes something. Because some things happen when you get means when you're earning a certain amount of income, or when you it's always a rags to riches
I mean,
story.
at a very young age, when you're earning this amount of
That
income,
amount of and without that initial planning or
Yeah.
without that without that planning, and when everything comes together in your hand, you don't know what to do
what
with
to
your
do?
money.
Yeah.
So that's so it's very crucial that you have a team or a certified or an expert who
Yeah.
gives or allocates that kind of funds, and who who who
Mhm.
advises you to do the best
mean-
best with those
I
funds.
mean, he may be expert on the field, but he
Exactly.
maybe not be expert
So
on the
being-
finance field, right?
So
he might be a
being-
magician in the field.
Field, yeah, that's what.
Yeah, so being best in the field or being best in what they do is not enough. They
Yeah.
should be best at financial
Management
management
also, yeah.
also.
Yeah.
So this is not only about the football. So even Mike Tyson or many celebrities, many sports
Yeah.
personalities were
Be it
facing.
any business owner, or be
Yeah.
it any individual for say.
Yeah.
So
Okay, let's kick off with Ronaldo.
Ronaldo,
I think
right,
that would be more
Exactly.
interesting.
Yeah,
So
the hot
let's
topic.
even give few advices how to avoid such situations in a financial terms.
So the case with Ronaldo was that of a tax evasion, I guess, some kind of a tax evasion attempt. Was that true, Alan?
Yeah, exactly. So, Ronaldo, as you all know, he's the god. He's the best football player. But still, he had to face tax evasion case with the Spanish tax authority. He was fined with huge amounts of money, and it was basically because he was using all his income. He was managing his income through the offshore companies in various countries.
Okay, so what does it mean actually? Could you explain it more actually?
Yeah. So, as you might be familiar, most of the sports personalities, they might be earning well from their sports area, but however, the huge revenue is coming from the sponsorships or endorsements. So, Cristiano was also earning huge amounts of sums from the sponsorships and endorsements. for
Cristiano
example.
gets more money rather than playing in
Yeah.
football. He gets more money.
I mean,
from
he's a brand
Instagram.
ambassador of Nike, right?
Yeah, Nike, exactly. So being in our childhoods, I remember we used to always want the Nike boots,
Boots, yeah.
because Ronaldo was
See,
wearing
just to
Nike.
see the CR7 branding in that.
The
Yeah.
Mercurial was his
Mercurial
brand.
range, yeah.
Yeah. So the issue was that all the income that was earned from the sponsorships or endorsements, he was routing it through his offshore companies situated in the lower tax rate areas.
So what you're saying is that to avoid the higher taxes in Spain, he routed his income from Spain, or he routed his income, the general income, through other offshore countries, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, in 2003, in order to attract more football players, the Spain introduced a new law called Beckham law. So, I guess that was the time when David Beckham joined the Real Madrid.
So,
So
the
from
name
United.
itself is named in the name of Beckham.
Yeah.
So the
That-
law
that's
itself is
how
named in the name of
famous he
Beckham.
was. Yeah.
It's still the great.
So this was basically a tax exemption scheme. So the footballers earning from this football, they did not have to pay taxes on that.
Okay.
But however, after 2010, there was some change to this Beckham law, and they brought in a ceiling limit or cap at 600,000 euros. So any footballers earning above 600,000 had to pay taxes at the regular rates. So I guess this was the time when all of the football players faced a real challenge. So they started routing their funds through these offshore accounts.
Yeah.
That was the time when they started evading tax.
I mean, that was a time where Spain had a little economic crisis also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so that was so as you said, many of the sports people, I mean, many of the sports industry.
Yeah, even Neymar,
Yeah.
many Spanish players.
Many top names in football or even celebrities.
And
Yeah.
in fact, an attempt by the government to raise the bars for the
Yeah.
treasury revenue has unfortunately turned to making the stars some violators of law. Like it ultimately ended up in violating the law,
And
right?
I think it's not even raising the bars. There was earlier it was fully exempt, right?
Oh,
Yeah, earlier it was
You
fully
put on a
exempt.
bar, right?
oh,
Okay.
Not
That's
even
was
go-
slapping it hard.
okay.
I think there is a thin line between tax. You can say that as a tax planning, right? Because he's sharing his. Is there something illegal behind it, or it can? There's a thin line between tax planning, tax evasion, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, this is actually the clear case of tax evasion because technically, Cristiano Ronaldo, if he had reported the income in Spain, then it wouldn't have been a tax evasion. It could have been a tax planning.
Oh.
But however, what he did was he had the intent of avoiding taxes, tax evasion. So that's why he didn't report his income in Spain. So it we need to have a proper tax planning in order to reduce the taxes, but however this was case of tax evasion.
Yeah,
As a
and-
chartered
and-
accountant, we'd promote more of tax
Tax planning.
planning actually.
And I really feel that we should give a more clarity on the concept of this tax planning, tax avoidance, and the tax evasion things, since we are supposed to be the mentors and the guidance to the public, I mean to the people, to save their taxes or to deal with their income. We can definitely give an idea about.
Yeah.
So it's about as Matthew said, there's a thin line of difference between tax planning and tax evasion. And let me just introduce another term. It's called tax avoidance, which is particularly different from these two other concepts. So to start with the tax evasion, I have to first speak about tax planning. What is tax planning? So tax planning is nothing but the proper utilization of the permitted deductions and exemptions from the government to pay the minimum taxes. It's a tax planning. Like the government may be looking for higher levy, like for higher tax collection, but being a taxpayer or an assessee, we have legal means to save your incomes and taxes. That's what tax planning is. It is purely legal, it's purely ethical. But the thin line of difference of tax evasion from tax planning is like tax evasion is supposed to be illegal, and it really lacks the ethical element in it, like when it comes to tax evasion. So we can't even encourage or promote tax evasion as a method to save taxes. And tax avoidance is a totally different matter compared to tax evasion or tax planning. It's like there are certain loopholes existing in the law, whether it be in the income tax. Loopholes are always there.
Yeah.
Different kinds of laws are there. But when it comes to a particular utilization of loophole in tax law, it refers to tax avoidance, and it is not generally encouraged because it has that unethical elements, as well as the lack of clarity in the law exists there. It is not generally encouraged. So
it's
that was
in legality it is there, but ethically it is wrong.
yeah.
I guess the income tax is making many amendments in order to avoid or correct this
Yeah,
loopholes.
I mean, continuous amendments are happening right
Yeah.
now. I mean, in football terms, the thing is, in football terms, actually, tax avoidance is like faking an injury to get out of a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, as being a financial advisor or being chartered accountants, let's encourage more on tax planning
Yeah.
rather than tax avoidance.
Yeah. And again, I was recalling the incident, the one you said, the photo of Ronaldo
Yeah.
coming out of the court, giving
Yeah.
attention to the media. So the funniest incident aligned with the event is like Mr. Ronaldo was actually requested for an in-person video conference for this particular trial to avoid the media presence, but unfortunately the judge denied it.
I mean, the judge even denied him entering
Yeah,
inside the car
yeah.
into the court premises.
Yeah, he was not permitted
Yeah.
to take the car to
Car
the court
to court
premises.
premises
Yeah,
also.
it ultimately resulted in a total media, attention.
Havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
it's Ronaldo, bro. So you can't say there won't be media. There will be also lots of, and there was lots of media. And the funny thing, and he was smiling and waving, even though it was a court case. He was smiling and waving like, as if it was nothing, right?
Yeah, I mean, as if he was entering a football court rather than a court of
Court.
justice.
Imagine getting fined with 18.8 million euros, and then still having a swag attitude together.
That's Ronaldo for you. That's the goat. That's CR7.
Yeah.
But he had to pay the fine and all. But still, all this dirt about Ronaldo, I think there might be some dirt of Messi because me being a Ronaldo fan, I think is there something about Messi that we can say?
That's never going to happen, man.
That's not true.
Never a
That's-
chance. Never a
That's not
chance.
true actually. Messi, even with his parents, had to pay 4.1 million euros as tax evasion case in the same court.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
like so that was a thing for everyone. Right?
Yeah,
So you can see that, Alan. It's 18.8 million in
And
fines and just
4.1 million.
4.1 million. So
Ronaldo
Ronaldo
is-
is still the goat.
But of what?
Greatest of all taxpayers.
It's the greatest of all taxpayers. He just paid 18.8 million, man. Yeah.
It's nothing for him.
Vested
It's like
everything
pennies
he's
for him.
do.
Yeah. So that was the story of tax evasion behind Ronaldo. It ended up in 18.8 million, right?
If
Yeah.
Ronaldo had Finbook by his side, I guess he could have avoided such situation.
It's too much
Okay.
that we can afford actually, but still. Yeah. So that was the story behind Ronaldo, and it ended up in an 18.8 million euros, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so huge.
That's peanuts for him actually.
I was wondering whether there was any prison sentence or did he avoid?
Whether just it ended up with that
Yeah.
18.8 or was there
Yeah.
something else with that?
I didn't want to say that, but he is my goat. But still, there was a slight prison sentence, but it got suspended. So
Yeah, I mean, as per Spanish law, if the prison sentence is less than 2 years, and if it's a non-violent offense, and if it's a first-time offense, it can be evaded if he paid the required fines.
Oh, so he got 23.
Yeah,
23
just a
months,
close
right?
call of 1 month.
So that's the Fergie time for you.
Yeah.
So you guys are telling that he could have really ended up in jail
Yeah, for 2
if
years.
that particular 1 month
Yeah.
was not there.
Just imagine the amount of goals you'd have missed.
Oh
I think
my
it's
God.
900 right now, no?
He is in 900. He's going for the 1,000.
Yeah, so it's
probably.
minus 80 goals. I mean,
And-
40
and-
goals for sure.
And the rest of his career, what would it have been?
Yeah.
Like,
It could have ended his
Yeah.
career. So being good in the field is not enough. He should be good at the financial
level
management
also.
yeah,
What is happening behind the field also?
exactly. So that's where we are up to.
Yeah.
So what is the key takeaway or the crux or the essence of the narrative that we had given here? Like, they may be legends and like they are the stars in the field, but to say taxes are always a serious business.
I mean, that is where we come in actually. Being it a regular business owner or even a professional footballer or being it any individual or even a celebrity. If you don't manage your taxes or finances properly, your life gonna get screwed.
That's a definite red card from the authorities.
I mean, no surprises from the tax man.
I think let's keep this interesting with more of Ronaldinho's stories.
Yeah.
So he faced many challenges. So let's keep it a little suspense for
We'll
the
keep it
Yeah.
for the next episode. Actually.
Sure.
Like we'll just let them know whether who was the best in the evasion thing. Like let's see whether that was an evasion case or the
And if
financial
it's financial
mishap.
mishaps, it's Ronaldinho
Yeah.
for sure. If it's financial mishaps, it's funny.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's
So
still have a
let's
guess.
talk about the magician and what he might have been a magician. He was a magician in the field, but let's talk about how the magic didn't happen outside the court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be the end of the story. Let's keep the chat going with the FinChats. Till then, bye.